do this, we say Bismillah, Allahu Akbar. There are Iman and Bikawa, but don't worry about that. There are certain details that really will clog our memory. We are not going to do it, okay? We want things to be simple and easy, okay? Unless you want them to be complicated. You want them to be complicated? No, I don't think so. Okay, so we will do this, and then we will start our sa'i. By the way, there's a big post. We are going to go behind it so that we will start sa'i right from where Safa is. Now Safa is covered with plexiglass, okay? You cannot touch it, okay? And by the way, touching the plexiglass is not, okay? Touching the wall of the Kaaba is a no, 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 no. I'll tell you why. Can somebody tell me a practical reason why? Why? Because they dab it with musk, the wall. And when you are in Ihram, one of the restrictions is that you cannot put any scent on yourself. So if you touch the wall, you will be carrying the scent. We cannot do that. And besides, touching it is not going to do you any good. We are not idol worshippers. Rasulullah ﷺ said about the Kaaba, he said, by Allah, the sanctity of the life of a Muslim is more than your sanctity. We do not pray to the Kaaba. We pray in the direction of the Kaaba. It's just basically a focus. That's it. Okay? So we do 7 times between Safa, Marwa. Okay? Marwa, Safa, Safa, Marwa, Safa, Marwa. I tell you something. It's not funny, but it was funny at the time when it happened. Some people do it. Okay, they think that Safa, Marwa, Marwa, Safa is one. They think. Okay, please, they think. And then Safa, Marwa, Marwa, Safa. Because one time, I had a father and son, from London. They came late to the hotel. I was waiting for them in the lobby, and when they came, they were walking like this. I said, what's the matter? They said, brother, this is too long. To go between Safa, Marwa, Marwa, Safa, Safa, Marwa, Safa, Marwa. So what they thought and did, they did Safa, Marwa, Marwa, Safa is 1. Safa, Marwa, Marwa, Safa 2. So they did it 14 times. And by the way, the distance between Safa and Marwa is 800 meters. So when we do it 7 times, it's already 5.5 kilometers. So imagine they went for 11 kilometers, and it was summertime, so they really came back. It was not easy for them, okay? So inshallah, we'll do it together, and then after that, for the sisters, you can wait. I'll tell you what to do. For the brothers, we will go together. There are barbers, in a place. We will go there, and we will, inshallah, either shorten or shave. Okay. For the sisters, you go together and find any sister who is not in a state of ihram, and you ask her in a place where no one, no men, nobody, okay, is looking, and she just basically cut, from one side that much. There are differences. Some people say, it has to be even. Okay, some people say in one side will be fine. Imam Shafi'i even said that 3 hairs is fine. And okay, just do whatever, inshallah, you have heard that is, absolutely fine. So you just have that sister then. Once that sister does that to you, you can start doing it to another sister. Now there are 2 of you, 2 can do it to other 2, and 4 can do it to 8, and you will be done in no time. You can go to one of the rooms, actually, your rooms, and do it in the room. It doesn't have to be next to Al-Marwa. It doesn't have to be, okay? And after that, we are done. So we are going to take ghusl, a shower, and then come out of the state of ihram and go and sleep. Let me say this. Many people get so excited because there is a flood of adrenaline in their body. They just saw the Kaaba. Okay, so they want to just keep going, and I'll tell you, okay, I think we will do our Umrah around 7 or 8 in the morning, okay, according to when we will arrive, and then what will happen, we will finish maybe by around 10:15. We will go and take our shower. By the time we are done, it will be time for Zuhr. So my advice is this: we go and we pray Zuhr. Now we took our shower. We are feeling tired, but we are excited. We are happy. We're in Mecca, okay. And I'll tell you there that being in Mecca, you are at the center of this earth. You are in a place that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, out of the 14 times He made an oath in the Quran. Allah made an oath 14 times in the Quran. 2 of those 14 is an oath by the Kaaba, by Mecca. By Mecca. He made an oath by Mecca. That's how important. Mecca is a place that, we cannot face or give our back to relieve ourselves. We can't. Okay? That's how important it is. Mecca is so special. We are there. We just saw the Kaaba and we want to go and see go. Pray Zuhr. Okay? Now, after Zuhr, we are going to go and, have a nap, but be careful. Okay? This is, if you can have a nap and wake up for Asr, alhamdulillah. If not, take it as close to Maghrib as possible, okay? And then pray Asr alone, and then you are ready for Maghrib, okay? Stay at Al-Masjid Al-Haram to pray Isha, and then after that go and have dinner, and immediately go to sleep. Sleep. First day, I advise you no qiyam, nothing, because your body will catch up on you and say, you are abusing me. The body will tell you, okay? So sleep until Fajr time, wake up, and you are, mashallah, ready to go, okay? So this is what we are going to do there will be a schedule where to visit other places. So now let us move on the slides to see, okay, now this is the black stone. This is the Yemeni corner that I told you, رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. Okay, we will say it here, but we will come from a door that way, so we will come all the way here to start. By the way, they have on the 2nd and 3rd floor a green light that shows you that this is where the black stone is, because we cannot see it. Okay, it is placed in a silver casing, and because there are so many people here, we cannot see it. We will just wave at it. So we will start from here, the 1st, the 2nd, the 3rd. Now having them this way doesn't mean that the 1st you are closest to the Kaaba, the 2nd you are, no. It's just basically for diagrammatical reasons that it was put that way. This is where the Maqam Ibrahim is. This is Hajar Ismail or Al-Khatim. We will talk about every little place of the Kaaba, inshallah, there. And then we will do it. Once we finish, we pray anywhere. Then we go to Safa and go to Marwa, inshallah. Then we go and this is just a diagram to show us how we are going. So now we can move. And this is where I would like to dwell a little bit. Now, for sisters, there are no clothing requirements for ihram, other than your regular clothes. So this is fine, provided that we make sure that we are covering all our hair properly, we are not compromising that, we are, so the way our dress is usually, this is what our sisters will do their umrah in. But for the brothers, the men, the boys, there is a requirement. So we take everything off. We will do that most probably in Abu Dhabi, okay, before we will get to the plane. What we do, we take everything, so make sure that you have carry-on where you put your ihram garments that you will receive. Okay, you have it handy. Don't say, so I packed it in my, don't do that, please. This is a warning. Don't pack it in your regular luggage because you will need it, okay? So you put it on, and I will demonstrate how we put it on, inshallah. And so 2 pieces only. And I have to say to, let me try to remember your name. Suhaib Al-Rumi. Suhaib. Okay. How old are you? 11. Now, when I took my son for the first time for Hajj, actually, it wasn't Umrah, it was Hajj, he was 7 years old. Okay. And at 7, I was explaining, I said, okay, so you take everything, okay, and then you put the 2 pieces. He came to me and he whispered in my ear, he said, Dad, what do you mean everything? I said, everything. He said, Dad, do you mean everything? I said, yes. He said, but so I have to explain that we take everything and we put on the garment, okay, properly so that we will protect ourselves. So this is for men. I will show you how we're going to do it. Okay, and by the way, for shoes, we call them slippers because they're not going to be shoes. And I want to explain. If the ones you have threads that tie them, that's fine. Because the confusion is in an Arabic word called al-makhit. Al-makhit is from khayt. Okay, so they think that khayt is no threads anywhere. No, it doesn't mean that way. Makhit means anything that takes the shape of the body. Okay, you're not allowed. So you can wear slippers. The obligation is to expose your heels. That's the obligation. Now, the recommendation added to the obligation is to expose your toes as well. If you have a Crocs, for example, that's fine, provided your heels are shown. But if you have something that shows the toes as well as, that's perfect. Okay? Now, there's no specific clothing for the sisters. Alhamdulillah, we said that. We can. Okay, now these are the restrictions not from Abu Dhabi. When you put the garments, the 2 pieces, you did not enter ihram yet. When do we enter ihram? When together we say labbaik Allahumma umrah. That's it, we started. Many people think that we started the moment we put the, no. You're just getting ready. So once we say labbaik Allahumma umrah, now you cannot say to your wife, how do I look? Is my hair okay? You don't have to worry because you don't have hair. Okay? That's fine. Now it's actually the style not to have hair. Okay, are you going with us? Yes, so you cannot look in the mirror and say, do I have my hair combed and things. If you did not comb it, it's too late. You have to stay like this until you finish, okay? You have no problem with that, I'm sure, okay? But you have to smile. Okay, so no fragrances. There are many, pieces of soap. By the way, many people ask me the question, when I am taking a shower before I put can I use, fragrance shampoo or, yes, you can. But for sisters, let me say this, not only for Umrah, not only for Hajj, all the time. Many sisters use an excuse, well, it's not perfume that I put, but it's part of the shampoo I'm using. If it is too much fragrance that you carry it with you wherever you go, you shouldn't use it. No sister should leave home while people can detect a smell on her, period. We're not, period, okay? Allah said it, okay, alhamdulillah. So, but you can before, okay? No cutting of nails. Oops, I forgot to, I'll talk about this, cutting of nails. Okay, there are things you can get ready for before you leave to the airport at Pearson. And that is, you can cut your nails, you can remove unwanted hairs in the body, okay? Before you leave. And it doesn't have to be done one after the other no, you can do it. Okay, I don't think anybody is planning to get married there. Why do you smile every time I talk about something? You know, I don't think your wife should let you go. Okay? Because every time I mention something fishy, he smiles. He says, I don't know. Okay, so I don't think this is anybody who should worry about it. Unless, so hey, you want to get married? No, I don't think so. I don't think your dad will let you. Okay. No intimate marital relations. We said that. No hunting. Okay. I don't think anybody is going to. No idle speech or actions. You know, many people. I've seen it. Because not everybody who's invited by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and given a chance is really behave according to the chance that Allah has given him or her. I've seen it. We were doing tawaf al-wada' one time. Husband and wife, they almost killed each other while they were doing tawaf. They were fighting with each other, doing tawaf al-wada'. Okay, many people do things. Allah invited you, but you know, you are next to the Kaaba. You are in Medina, you are this, so we're not going to have any of, okay, so we can move now. We talked about Labbaik Allahumma Umrah, we talked about that, okay. Labbaik Allahumma Labbaik, we said there are 5 Labbaiks there, and we explained what it means, okay. Now, this, I want you to enjoy knowing these things while we are pointing to them visually. We will be standing on the roof. Imagine yourself now standing on the roof of Al-Masjid Al-Haram, looking at the Kaaba and seeing this is the Mizab, this is Al-Khatim, this is that, Allahu Akbar. You know, it will look so beautiful, mashallah. So we will keep this until we get to the Kaaba, inshallah. Now, this is, okay, this is not right. And I hope that we take this from the slide, because there's no such thing as the intention for tawaf or the intention for sa'i. So this, let us skip it and remove it because it's not, okay. Now, istilam means to touch. We are not going to do that. So now moving towards right, come in front of Hajar al-Aswad and touch with your right hand and kiss your hand. Now, this is not called istilam. Istilam is to touch, okay? Now, we are not going to touch that. If this not, then face the black stone and with your right hand, gesture towards the black stone and say, Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, and then keep moving. Let me say this. As I said, looking at the Kaaba is an act of worship. If you can do your tawaf like this, take your chances. I don't advise it because sometimes if it is crowded, you may fall on the people in front of you. This is not right. Okay, so look in front of you. If you come to a point where it is safe to look at the Kaaba again, then do that. Okay? Now, for men, as we will start our tawaf, only there I will tell you, okay, now we are going to expose our right shoulder for the entire tawaf around the 7 times. Another slide, okay, just hold it, don't worry about it. It says the first 3 times we are going to move fast. But if it is crowded, okay, we won't be able to do it. And if we are accompanied by our wives, our mothers, our sisters, okay, we may lose them. So we are not going to do that. Okay, and doing this is recommended. It's not even a sunnah. So we're not going to do it. Okay? So it's just for information's sake. Okay. Now, ركن اليمن, we said ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة. Let's move. Okay. Tawaf, the end of tawaf. Okay, Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, wa lillahi alhamd. Okay, we are done. Now we are going to pray 2 rak'at. not behind Maqam Ibrahim because it will be too crowded, but we will find a place empty and then we will pray. Okay, and then Zamzam. You can make this dua, but you can make any other dua. So we are not going to really clog our memory with that. Let's move. This is the Safa as we wish it to be, but usually it's not that empty. Okay, it is crowded. Okay, but this is, by the way, the old Safa. Now they opened it up. It's 40 meters across. Okay, so we're not going to worry about it. Okay, this is diagram. Okay. Now again, there's no such thing as niyyah for sa'i. Forget about this. Okay, and this is the shaving. We talked about that. So now your umrah is complete. Okay, we move. Now these are the sites that we will visit, inshallah. Now, for those who want to do more than one umrah, how many would like to do more than one umrah? Okay, so you want to get your money's worth. So inshallah, for those who want to do another umrah, you can do it on behalf of someone else who cannot make the trip. Not just, someone who could really come. You say, I love that person so much, or that person asked me to do it on their behalf. There's no such thing, unless they cannot make the trip. So if they cannot make the trip and you want to do it on their behalf, you may. If you want to do another umrah for yourself, go ahead. Okay? But you have to move to a place called At-Tan'im. I'll tell you the story of this masjid, or Masjid Aisha. You make your ihram, and you come back and you start all over again, do tawaf and do the sa'i and okay. Now we will visit, inshallah, Arafat. We will go to Mina. We will go to Muzdalifah, and I'll tell you the stories behind Mina and Muzdalifah. And by the way, I want to add something here between Muzdalifah and Mina. Okay, they should be in the opposite because it's Arafat, then Muzdalifah, then Mina. There is a place I want to show you, inshallah. We all heard about Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam was about to sacrifice his son Ismail. Would you like to see the spot where this happened? If not, we will skip it. You'd like to see it? Would you allow us to see it? Okay, so we will, inshallah, see that before we will get to the masjid that is in Mina. We will see the masjid that is in Muzdalifah. We'll see the masjid that is in Arafat. We will, so many places in Mecca. These are now, again, depending on our boss and how many people interested. There's nothing spiritually significant about it, but for those who would like to do it, okay, I'll see how I'm feeling, inshallah. Probably he knows what I want to talk about. And okay, if you would like to climb the mountain to cave Hira or Hira, where the revelation came, if you are fit enough for that, it's not easy, then inshallah, one Fajr, because it has to be immediately after Fajr, and depending on the mood of Brother Ibrahim. If he's in a good mood, we will go. If he's not, he will say absolutely not. Okay, and we have to listen to what he says. So inshallah, and it's called Jabal al-Nur. And you will see Jabal al-Nur, we'll talk in Mecca anyway. So let's move to historical places of Medina. Inshallah, we'll go to Jannat al-Baqiyah. By the way, unfortunately, our sisters will not be able to have this absolutely fantastic experience, because when we go to Medina, one morning, inshallah, I'll take all the brothers, and then we will go early to pray tahajjud, as we, by the way, every night we have tahajjud. Okay? But after we rest a little bit, after the plan we had for the first few days, or two days, then we'll have tahajjud. So when we go to Medina, inshallah, we will one morning go as close to the Imam as possible, and once he finishes Fajr, we will run, literally run, to pray Salat al-Janaza, okay, and then carry the Janaza to Jannat al-Baqiyah. You would say, what Janaza? Okay, let me tell you something. For those who have not been to Umrah or Hajj, based on statistics, we expect that after every Salat, Fajr, Zuhr, Asr, Maghrib, Isha, Fajr, Zuhr, after every Salat, based on numbers, there will be Janazah prayer. There will be people dead. Okay, it's not just symbolic. There will be people dead. One time in Mecca, I counted 31 janazas in front of the Imam. 31. Okay, so there will be janazas. We will carry a janaza and we will go to Al-Baqiyah, and I will show you how burial is done according to Al-Lahad. Okay, and then we will have a halaqa, okay, at Al-Baqiyah to talk about death, to talk about, things that our heart will be softened to, and we'll have the most beautiful scene of Al-Masjid al-Nabawi from Al-Baqiyah. Because as the sun is rising, you look at Al-Masjid al-Nabawi, you can see all 10 minarets. You will be able to see something beautiful. You will not be able to see it from any other place. Okay, so we'll have a beautiful morning, at Al-Baqiyah, inshallah, and then we will go to Quba, we'll go to, Masjid al-Jumu'ah, Masjid al-Ghamama, Masjid Abu Bakr. These are Musallayat al-Eid. We'll go to all those places, inshallah. Badr, we are not going to go to Badr because it's far. No, it's very far. Okay, we'll go to Uhud. When we get to Uhud, have you heard about the Battle of Uhud? Have you heard about it? Okay, so it is actually in Surah Al-Imran. In Surah Al-Imran, 80 ayat in the beginning talk about, interfaith dialogue, and then 120 ayat talk about the Battle of Uhud. And we will, inshallah, I will explain how the battle took place, where the Muslimin came, where the non-believers came, how they engaged, where did Hamza die, at what spot, where did the 50 people stand on all of this, inshallah, we will see it once we get to Uhud, inshallah. And we'll go to the well of Osman. I'll tell you the story of that. We'll go to all of those places. Sab'a masajid. It's not 7 masajid anymore. Okay, Masjid al-Raya is what we will talk about that, inshallah. Okay, is this the last one?
Yeah.
Yes. So inshallah, we will have the Umrah, or for those who want to do more than one, you can do it, and we will have the halaqat, we will have, inshallah, it will be 11 life-changing days of experience. Be ready. Be ready. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves us. And because He loves us, He invited us, okay, to that most sacred of places. And then inshallah we have to get ready. Now one thing I still have to do, and that is to ask you for something which may be difficult. But remember, we are going for a life-changing experience. Now, before Thursday, if you didn't do it yet, you need to make sure that you have a wasiyah or a will, not well, okay. You will have a will. You make sure that everything you are leaving behind is taken care of. And if there is anyone in your life where there is a tension between you and that person, you go to that person and you ask forgiveness. Oh, but it's not my fault. It was her fault. She stopped. You still say, I'm sorry. Forgive me. I know it's very difficult, but we have to start to do the boot camp training for our nafs. We have to. Otherwise, it will be religious tourism. And we are not going to go on a religious tourism. This is not the purpose. We are going for ibadah, as per the Quran. So we have to do it right. So please, Sit, make a list even. You might have forgotten because of time who that person is. Right, say who it is, who is upset with me. Go to that person and say, I ask for it. If that person kicks you out, alhamdulillah, you try. But once you come back, you try again. Jazakumullah khair. I'm really looking forward to this, and I hope all of you will do that. And by the time we will come back on the 8th of January, inshallah, we will be one family, bi'idhnillah.